What's up, guys? It's Tony, aka T-Slaps, and we are here with our draft analysis for the KCDL, the King's Crown Draft League, hosted by my good friend Jarl, as well as I think two others. I think Stegosaurus Rex and Frosty, I believe, are also part of that commission team. But we're here with a new draft league, just doing this little impromptu draft analysis. Never been a fan of draft analysis, but just doing an impromptu one just to give you guys a rundown of the team because this is an uploading required league. So unlike the other league that we have going on, the NCP Revival Wi-Fi league, where I'm kind of uploading it at my own leisure because I want to, and everyone's not uploading. All 12 coaches, or I think one person isn't, but pretty much everyone's uploading in this league. And what's special about this league is it is a cash prize. There's a cash prize here at the end of 100 Canadian dollars, whatever that is in U.S. currency. I don't know, but there's money on the line, so we really want to do our best to win this. And on top of it, it's also an Ubers league. This is gonna be my first Ubers Wi-Fi league, which I'm super excited for. I had just recently finished up an Ubers Showdown league, which I didn't do too well on, but it definitely gave me a better grasp of the format and how I want to be prepping and playing this game. So I'm really excited for how we perform in this league. So without further ado, let's just get right into our team. Maybe look over a few of the roles real quickly. Just kind of showing off the doc. I don't really mind. It's okay. We had 9 to 11 Pokemon. 12 coaches only, 140 points. We only have one Terra Captain. Anything else? So with the Ubers, it's just kind of like the BBL. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably saw the BBL draft league that went on recently. That I think just concluded pretty much by the time this come out. We're looking at either you can have one platinum Uber, you can have one gold or one bronze, you can have a silver or bronze, or you can have two silvers, or I mean two bronzes if you really wanted to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then just standard clauses from there and free agency, nothing crazy like that. So yeah, with that being said, we had the first overall pick. We had like this Hunger Games simulator thing to decide draft picks, and I won it, so I got the first pick. And going into this, looking at the tiers beforehand, I kind of already had an idea of what I wanted, which was going to be Lunala. I thought Lunala being in gold was like a great value pick for Ubers rather than it being platinum. It being gold allows you to set it up with another bronze Uber, which I was looking at maybe like a Chimpao, a Fluttermane, a Spetueer. I mean, honestly, most of these would have been really cool to pair up, especially the Chimpao. Chimpao would have been super fun to pair up with it, but I was convinced with my first pick to grab Mewtwo. So Mewtwo is really awesome. Yeah, I mean, Mewtwo is just amazing to, just use 130, I believe, special attack. Yeah, so this is the team that we have here. I mean, spoilers alert, right? But we decided to grab Mewtwo, so base 130, the speed is always great. There's not much that outspeeds Mewtwo in the game. So, I mean, just having that great base speed tier is super awesome. Nothing really switches into it. It has great setup options like Nasty Plot, of course. Let me see here. I'm gonna cut in and out a little bit here, but Mewtwo has great setup with like Nasty Plot. You can bulk up if you really want to. I don't think it gets SD or anything like that, but you got a fast Taunter. You can Thunder Wave or Willow if you really need to. Like I said, it gets Recover, and it has just all of the coverage in the world. Like literally so much coverage. If you need a coverage move, I guarantee you it has a move of that type. So, I mean, it's just really amazing. This is just like a brain dead offensive line. You just click a button, you just go attack. Boom. That's all you need from it. So, I grabbed that first overall. And then next came around to me again. And I was looking at a few different things. I know Iron Valiant I really wanted because I haven't used it yet. So, on my second pick of the wheel, I definitely knew that I wanted Iron Valiant. And Iron Valiant, same vein as Mewtwo. Base 116 is also once again a really good speed tier, and it matches up like pretty much one speed tier below Mewtwo, which is really nice. So That's always great. And the same, same thing in terms of Mewtwo, where it just has set up on both sides with Sword Stance, or I believe it gets Calm Mind. Yeah, it gets Calm Mind as well. Has a ton of priority with, say, like Vacuum Wave. What else does it get in terms of? I feel like it gets something else other than Vacuum Wave. I'm blanking though. Maybe it doesn't. But I mean, Stab Vacuum Wave is always super good. And of course, you can run Booster Energy with it in order to get a Quark Drive boost, in order to get your speed up. So you can always outspeed a bunch of things, or you can raise one of your attack stats and just go off from there. It gets a ton of support moves with like Encore, Destiny Bond, Disable are super good. Knockoff's always super great, and in the same vein as Mewtwo, it gets recovery for pretty much everything, right? That's just another great offensive mon that pairs well with Mewtwo. I mean, not much is switching into both Mewtwo and Iron Valiant, so it's also like really good there. In terms of the Iron Bundle being there, initially that's not what I decided to go for. I had different options. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what that would have been. I was thinking about, I mean, Terra Captains. I was looking around. I think Torn had already been grabbed at that point, or maybe it wasn't actually. I was thinking like maybe, what was I looking at? I think I was looking at maybe a Terra Goldango because I hadn't used that yet. And I was looking at other Terra Captains. I was thinking maybe like Annihilate, but I haven't used that yet. Raging Bolt was on the board, but I've already used Raging Bolt. The Ogre Pawns were there, but I wasn't really interested in that. Actually, you know what it was? There was a mistake on the dock, and it said that Terra Roaring Moon was available. And it had the Terra Point here, and I was going to grab that. That's what it was. However, if you look on the left side of the board here, it does have it banned over here, so there's just a little typo. So when it got to my pick, I wasn't able to grab both. And so I pivoted from there, and I grabbed Iron Valiant, and I decided just, a really broken Terra Captain on the board, Iron Bundle. I mean, Iron Bundle is just so fast, even faster than Bundle, pretty much the fastest thing in the game. It's right up there, right? Also with the same Quark Drive as Iron Valiant, so slap a booster, and you can make sure that you pretty much outspeed the entire game, or you can just boost your special attack. And nothing's switching into it, especially if you Terra it into like Terra Water, Terra Ice. That's really all you need. It gets freeze dry to hit the grass types or the water types that would wall Iron Bundle, and that's pretty much it. I mean, you just sweep from there. You can sub, you can call mine, you can just throw a spec on it, taunt. It gets nice pivoting moves, which I don't have any momentum with these two Pokemon. I mean, this thing might get Baton Pass, does it? It doesn't. So, I mean, it helps in that case, where now I can flip turn or U-turn out with bundles, so that helps me out a little bit. But I mean, Iron Bundle, I mean, what's switching into these three, right? Nothing. So I was really happy to get that 3 at the top of the core. Sad to not get Terra Roaring Moon, but I understand it should have been banned. I thought maybe they just slipped up in the tiering. I mean, they kind of did, but not in the way that I had hoped. So from there, I knew I wanted a Dark type to replace the Roaring Moon that I lost. It was either between Crook and Zarude, and as much as I wanted to use Zarude, I just decided I wanted to go a little bit cheaper on my points, so I decided to go Crocodile. Crocodile is a mon that I really enjoy. I mean, it has a good speed tier. It's deceivingly bulky. Intimidate helps it take physical attacks. And, I mean, if you slap an AV, Crook can be a really good Spidef sponge for, like, Dark and Ghost types, which is super nice. Especially when you have things like Spectre and, like, Lunala allowed in the format. Crook is just a nice, like, slap an AV on it. Boom, you got a soft check into one of those mons. It gives me a rocker, of course, which I didn't have otherwise. Another taunter, and it has good coverage moves overall. If you want it to be like a sweeper, you could throw like a Moxie on it, make it like a Scarf Moxie, or you can go like a Skill Shot Moxie set. I mean, Crook is just super nice. And like I said, that Intimidate is going to be super helpful, I feel like, in a lot of cases. And then I decided to grab some removal, because removal was starting to get hit up off the board. And so I decided to go with Serena. I feel like Serena was pretty safe. In terms of removal, gave me a ground resist, which is what my team was also kind of looking weak to. I didn't really have a pivot into ground just yet. No ground immunity, no ground resistance. So this is just really nice. Definitely probably one of the underwhelming picks on my team. But I mean, it fits a role and it gets that job done well with the spin. Gives me more momentum into one of my big 3 offensive pieces up at the top of the board. Nice knockoff, of course. And then, I mean, it hits super strong. It has a base 120 attack, so, and it gets, synthesis. It can leech seed stuff. Not much more. Actually, can it leech seed stuff? I don't think it can. Yeah, it can't. I'm talking out of my butt there. But I mean, it fits the role that I needed to. That's all I needed to do. So we got Serena. Looking at the board still, there was still a lot that was getting skipped up just because it was only a 12 person draft, so there was a lot on the board that, there's only so many people picking, so some things are inevitably going to be left on the board. The biggest thing I saw was Glamora there. Glamora being on the board was super, super awesome because, one, I've never used it. That was kind of my goal with this whole team. It was grab Pokemon that I have never used before, and with the exception of, like, Serena and Crook, I believe I haven't used any of these mons before. Maybe Miss Magius I've used, but definitely not. A lot of these are very, very new to me. So Glim, I mean, best remover in the game, and one of the best hazard setters in the game, outside of maybe Hisuian Samurott, and then also one of the most reliable spinners as well with Mortal Spin. I mean, it's just super, super awesome. Glamora can do both. It gives me a lot better of a hazard setter than Crook, and then it gives me another option to remove hazards other than Serena, so I'm not forced into either A, bringing Serena every game, or B, running boots on every single Pokemon, right? So that's super awesome for me. And Glamora, of course, has a great, great special attack stat. So, I mean, you can't even come into it thinking, oh, it's just, just going to set up hazards. I don't need to worry about what it does to me the following turn, because it has a good speed stat for base 86, and then the great special attack, and it has some good coverage move, of course, with the dual stabs, Power Gem, Sludge Wave, it's Energy Ball, Earth Power, Meteor Beam if you want to do that, and it gets all hazards other than web, so spikes, toxic spikes and then also toxic debris. You can run corrosion, so you can poison a poison type with toxic. And then Memento is also super, super good. And it also gets screens. I mean, Glamora is just the perfect utility mon. It can help enable my big 3 offensive pieces just to clean up really, really easily, while also not being super, super passive. So that's why I really, really like Glamora, and I'm really excited to use it. At this point, I really had just been grabbing what's on the board and what looked best for me. Is at this point where I decided I really need to patch things up on my team. So Hisuian Gudra, it gives me both the Steel type, and it gave me a Dragon type. I didn't have either of the Pokemon yet, typings, so I mean, this worked really, really well. Not something I've ever used, but I mean, Gudra just good Spadef Sponge, and that typing is also super awesome. Sap Sipper is always great for grass immunity, pairs well with Bundle. Or Shell Armor, I can prevent crit. Gooey's even a nice ability. I mean, all 3 abilities are super, super awesome. Same thing with, Iron Valiant and Mewtwo, in the sense that it just gets every single, coverage type in the game. And it's just meant there to help me absorb some hits and just, deal out insane damage. So, picked up Hisuian Gudra. Lastly, I picked up Miss Mag here. I mean, not lastly, but next, I knew Miss Mag was the one thing I was really, really certain I wanted to fit onto this team because of its speed tier. It fitting perfectly between Iron Valiant at 116 and Crocodile at 92 at the time. It just just fills that gap perfectly there. So Miss Magius is super cool. And that 105 speed, pretty especially offensive. You'd be surprised how well it can take special hits, and it gave me another ground immunity, which is super, super awesome. A ton of status moves with this thing. I mean, you can taunt, you can Thunder Wave, Willow Trick, you can go ahead and Pain Split to get your recovery back, Perish Song, Memento, Destiny Bond. I mean, there's just so much you can do with this mon in terms of status and just playing support with this thing. At the same time, it also just hits like a truck. 105 special attack is nothing to sneeze at, of course, and it gets a lot of coverage options once again. Of course, it gets its Ghost Stabs. You get, Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball. You get Psychic or Future Sight, Mystical Fire. There's not much that can switch into Miss Mag pretty safely. So, I mean, I was really happy with this. This is the one Pokemon that I knew I needed to get with my bottom 4 picks to fit that speed gap, but it also just provides so much more to your team. So, really happy to have grabbed Miss Mag. Next I got Volcanion. I kind of knew I wanted the second water type because Iron Bundle as your water type really doesn't give you a great switch in into said water types. Doesn't give you switch in into fire types with its part ice typing. Even if you Terra off your and become pure water, you're still taking a ton probably from that fire type move. So Volcanion is super nice. What sucks is that it is not resist. It can't take the bulky rock or ground type hits. But that's why we got Serena, right? It pairs really well in that case. And you have Crook there as well with the Entim. So I think they mesh really well, those two Pokemon. So we have Volcanion here just meant as kind of like a semi-decent defensive water. There's a few things that could have gone here. I tried to make a Azumarill fit for a while, but I just couldn't get the points to work out, I think was the main thing. I think there was something that got sniped. I only got sniped once in this entire draft, and that's where Azumarill would have fit in, but with that snipe happening, I knew I needed to grab Volcanion as a pickup. Another thing with it is that it gives me a fairy resistance, which I lack pretty heavily on this team. I have Lamora, and that's about it. But Volcanion is a very reliable fairy switch-in. Has decent type recovering. I mean, it's dual stabs, not much are switching into it. I mean, of course, a water is going to switch into Volcanion, but Volcanion's walling most waters. And when I can set up like Toxic Spice with Glomora or something like that, I mean, it's not really much that I'm worrying about. So, like Volcanion as a bulky water option and as a fairy switch-in. And then lastly, I decided to grab Indeedee. So this gave me a couple different things. One, it gave me a ghost immunity. Of course, like I said, we did have Crocodile can switch into it, but of course a lot of ghosts do have the coverage to hit Crocodile pretty heavily. So Indeedee just giving me that ghost immunity is always super nice. I mean, it's a super reliable support mon. Like I was saying before, if I really wanted to set up triggering for something, I could. I can Healing Wish things. I love Healing Wish in Draft League. Healing Wish is awesome. You can Encore things. The biggest thing I drafted this for, though, Psychic Surge. Psychic Surge is going to be super amazing. If I throw a Terrain Extender on this thing, what's switching into Mewtwo's Expanding Force? Nothing, right? Even Iron Valiant gets Expanding Force if I want to do that. On top of that, this prevents my bundle who is going to be weak or who is very frail, who might not appreciate getting hit with multiple priority moves. It prevents me from getting hit from said moves because of the Psychic Terrain, which is super amazing. So I was really happy with this pick. And of course I do get both typings, or not both typings, both genders. This isn't like a divided draft with the Indeedee, so we do get both in case, depending on what scenario I need it for. So this is the team I decided to have. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Like I said, I think that there was a better option, but I pick got sniped before me, so it was a little unfortunate, but I'm happy with how the team molded out, and I'm really excited to play with it, really excited to use pretty much everything on this team because most of it's new to me, and even then, I'm really excited to use Crook, even if I have used it before. Crook is just such a fantastic mon. The only mon that's like, okay, I mean, you're here, right, buddy, is Serena, but I think Serena will do good at playing the role it needs to play. I'm really excited for this team. This league will be uploaded every single Saturday, so if you guys are excited for that, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe down below so you can see this get uploaded every single week, as well as the NCP Wi-Fi revival that I talked about. That's been going on for a few weeks now. That's been going up on the weekends. It's going to shift over to Tuesdays. So if you want two Draft League videos every single week, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.